bringing you some Nigerian heat. This is my Suya-Spiced Brisket sandwich. Oh yeah. First thing I'm gonna do to get started with my recipe is make my spice blend, which is a Suya Spice. And to make my spice blend, we're gonna mix ginger powder, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, stock cubes, brown sugar, and peanuts. And we're just gonna blend this until we get a nice sandy consistency. And you can always do this by hand using a mallet or a rolling pin. So now that our Suya Spice is ready, we're gonna go onto our brisket, which is gonna get a nice, generous seasoning. And don't mess around, guys. This is not a lightly seasoned brisket. All right, so let's get pressure cooking. First, I'm gonna add about a cup of water. I'm gonna stick this beautiful piece of brisket right in there. And now this bad boy is gonna go for 1 hour. The smell that comes out of this is just so beautiful. I'm gonna take this brisket out. And don't you just love how it's all just pulling apart? Nice and flavorful. Just mix that all back in, make sure some of the spice goes back into the meat. And now that we're all shredded, I'm gonna put it on our burner. A nice sprinkle of salt. I'm gonna add in butter, 4 eggs. I like adding eggs to this recipe because it just gives me that breakfast vibe. Some black pepper and salt over the eggs. And then next, I'm just gonna move the meat just a little bit from the edges, just so I can have enough space to add the water, which is gonna steam the eggs. Let it go just enough for the white of the eggs to cook ever so lightly. All right, making our sauce, 3 ingredients. First, mayonnaise, then ketchup, and finally, sweet chili. All right, sauce done. Now that our egg whites have completely set, we're gonna add in some provolone cheese. Just gonna layer that right on top. So you can alternate this for some Parmesan cheese, even some mozzarella cheese, some good old cheddar, really any kind of cheese you got. Okay, and cover that back up and let that cheese melt. Now, bread time. Because I'm making a flat, open-faced sandwich, I'm gonna slice this bread in half. This is 8 buns of our sweet Hawaiian bread. So the first time I had the Hawaiian bread was whilst I was on tour last year in Houston. My cousin made breakfast and brought out these Hawaiian breads, and I tell you, it just reminded me of being back home and eating agege bread. All right, so now we're gonna toast the bread, and I'm gonna add a nice, generous nub of butter. Just let that melt away. And now I'm gonna take my bread, and I'm gonna lay that down into the bottom of the pan and let that toast away. All right, let's get this bread out. Nice and golden. First thing I'm gonna add in is the sauce. A nice, generous drizzle of that beautiful sauce. On top of that, my salad. It's a mix of baby lettuce and arugula. And I'm just gonna gently lift this up and place it directly over that salad. A little more salad on top. And here we go. The steak is nice and juicy. That Suya Spice, eggs are nice and creamy. Let's get in there and see how this tastes. Just perfection, guys. Just perfection. Now, I really hope you make the sandwich at home, and if you do make the sandwich, make sure you tag me at The Billionaire Chef and hashtag my Jikoni.